Hi, folks. If you live in a rural area or you live in the mountains like I do, there's a good chance that you have experienced the horrors of trying to find a good internet service provider for your internet. Where I live here in the mountains, it's particularly bad. The options are very limited. You can get DSL from the phone provider, which gives you very slow speeds, and the connection is just horrible. It constantly disconnects where I live, and it's just horrible. I was home for Thanksgiving for 4 days, and during that time, the internet just kept connecting, disconnecting the whole damn time. So I had had my fill with it at that point. I've been with the provider for about 20 years almost, and it hasn't gotten better in 20 years. Other options where I live are cellular, but that's pretty much line of sight. Living in the mountains, that doesn't work very well. There is satellite, but normally they limit you on the amount of bandwidth you're actually allowed to use. So that didn't work very well. And being a content creator, it's very important for me to have an internet with decent connection speeds. So my brother and one of my coworkers had Starlink. And I've been kicking that around for about, almost a year now. Their connections are great. They have, no obstructions where they live. So they were able to set it up quite easily, and it worked fantastic. And I kicked it around for about a year. And after the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. It costs a little bit of money up front for the equipment, and the service is a little bit more expensive than where I've been getting my internet at. But that being said, I was fed up and willing to try it. So I went ahead and bought the standard Starlink kit, and it came in about 3 days, 4 days, and I got the kit. It took about 20 minutes for me to hook it up. And basically, I threw the dish out here on the ground and I pointed it north like they wanted me to. Now, my property has a whole bunch of trees on it, as you can see, and it isn't very friendly for Starlink. So I'm going to basically point the camera to exactly where the dish is pointing. And you can see there's some trees in the way with obstructions. So I was really worried about the connection that I would get with Starlink and whether it would be faster than my current internet. My current internet was getting me about 26 megabits a second, less than 1 megabit second uploading. So it was horrible. So I figured anything would be better. I was worried about the connection with Starlink, was wondering about the speeds. Well, I just showed you it on the ground. I threw it on the ground, pointed it north where they wanted me to point it. There are some obstructions in the way, like I showed you with the trees, but I'm very happy to report that it downloads at about, over 200 megabits per second. And right now, the upload speed is actually above, uh, it's about 14 to 17 megabits per second upload speed. So the speeds I'm getting out of the Starlink are much better than I ever got with the DSL from CenturyLink. And the connection is always there. It hasn't been disconnecting even with the obstructions. I'm also going to show you the obstructions that I get on the Starlink app and show you exactly how well it connects and how fast it goes, even with the current obstructions. You can see in the app that there's obstructions, especially behind it, but in front not quite as much north where it's pointing at, but it shows you where all the obstructions are. So even with those obstructions, I'm able to obtain pretty good download and upload speeds. So currently it's downloading at 238 megabits per second, and it's uploading at, well, it stopped at 20 megabits per second upload speeds. So the speeds are extremely good, especially for having the obstructions. So that being said, if you live in a rural area or you live in the mountains like I do, there are other options. And it seems like Starlink, as long as you have a hole for the signal to go through, it seems to work pretty well, folks. So I recommend it. Hopefully it'll work for you if you're having the kind of issues with the internet that I've had. We'll see you next.